For those who might be interested in the Sargent Jefferson, another way of interpreting and the importance, I think, of working from life, which is something that's being destroyed, sadly, and there's a price to pay. As you have writing letters, people don't write letters, people use Xerox machines. Something's happening to our language, and that business of painting from life is so vital, and almost all these painters of the 19th and 20th century also were landscape painters, and they drew, and I'm speaking very personally, I cannot stress how vital and how important this is. Now, I was talking before about the Jefferson and what Sargent did. Now, this painting, if you can visualize it with a light from underneath, which unfortunately doesn't have, this was the same subject, and this was a painter. In many ways, I think it's really the finest painting we have. It needs a cleaning, but the light's coming from underneath. This was Mr. Jefferson, the man who's in the one with the wig. And he's putting the gloves on under what was stage lights, and the picture really should be illuminated from the bottom. But curious enough, you can really see in that head with the reverse lighting, the same head as in the other one. And for me, it is a tour de force as a painting. It is so exquisite. The hands, the stance, and the idea of the footlights. But there's no question these men worked from life. There's no question about it. Now, Mr. Booth, curious enough, has been painted in so many roles. This is another one of Mr. Booth. It's not a particularly good painting. I've forgotten who the artist is. But this was playing Richelieu, the French cardinal. And the other paintings have some historic value. They are by, I should know, Thomas Sully. Sully was a great portraitist of the Revolutionary War period. And I want to take you all and let you look around the dining room. There's not that much in there, but one thing you might be interested in the structure of the house physically. When Mr. Booth lived here, half of that dining room, the last half, which is where the stage is, was an outdoor garden. But when the club began to get bigger and they realized what was more important to a theatrical club than a stage, they filled it in and did a very good job. And what happens here often is the players will salute Broadway plays. And if, say, of Sunday or a night that the Broadway plays are off, they will have performances here. And there are always readings and activities, and it's a throwback because they don't have a gym, they don't have rooms to stay in, and you just have to hope, and I mean pray, that clubs like this will survive, because it would be a shame to see this glorious collection. And I'll let you wander around at will if you would. The other thing when we're through here is, and then I'll talk about, if I may, self-centeredly about my own portraits here, because they relate to interpreting from life different presidents of the players. But upstairs, I've started to create sort of a ladies' wing. By the way, I don't know if you know of a painter named Eastman Johnson. He was a very famous one. Well, that's an Eastman Johnson painting, very rare portrait. It's not one of my favorites, and the one up on top is another one of, I think, Mr. Booth's father. This was an extraordinary theatrical family. And there is a painting upstairs somewhere of John Wilkes Booth. And let me see what else. And the dining room is used for theatrical productions, play readings, and there are all kinds of portraits on the walls. Not of great significance, but for instance, there is one right down at the end of Velázquez. It's by William Merritt Chase. When Chase was a student, there was a famous painting by Velázquez called The Actor, and Chase made a copy of it, and it found its way here. And one of the things is, we do have a very excellent librarian who does a lot of research, but some things you can't uncover. For instance, we don't know where the Chase came from. It was a gift to the club. And some of those things do exist. If there's time on the way out and you can make it up the stairs, there are about 60 small heads, 16, 20 of the Hall of Fame we've created, which has got a lot of work by Wendy Caparol and Kyle Keith, and I hope Jamie will have Gordon and Tom Donahue, of Sinatra and Rockwell and Mark Twain, and we're beginning to build that out. But you're welcome to walk through here. An uncle of John, Ethel, and Lionel Barrymores, or great uncle of Drew Barrymore, was John Drew, who was president here for 20 years. And this was done by the American illustrator, best known for the I Want You poster, James Montgomery Flagg, of John Drew in about 1910. And it was in the family, and one of the things I've done without any guilt is to try and twist arms and persuade people that we really don't have the money, but it really belongs here.